Hi y'all, I'm Tamara and this is I'd Rather Be Stitching. Today is July 7th. I hope everybody had a really great 4th of July. We did. It was good. It was quiet, but it was nice. You know, we watched Project Hail Mary and Independence Day and had buffalo wings and watched fireworks. They were lighting them off all around out there, so we just basically went out in the yard and watched fireworks, so that was cool. So I hope all of you enjoyed your celebrations with your families. And today I have a WIP parade for you. It's a little bit late, but since I didn't do one, I didn't do a year-end WIP parade because we were moving to this house and I have new subscribers, so I thought I'd go ahead and do one even though it's late, just so that everybody can see the projects that I have. So I have 3 piles. They're not in any particular order except one group are the ones that are current, like I'm currently working on them. One group has not been worked on at all this year, and another group hasn't been worked on and I don't know how long. So that's the only order that I have here. Also, I'm going to do very little editing. I have pictures for most of these, but for the ones that I don't have pictures for, I will pop an image up for you to see what it will look like, except for one which there is no image that I can pop up for. It was a free pattern, so I don't have an image. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. So the first one I have is 100 Owls. This is by Owl Forest Embroidery. Probably everyone has seen this, but if not, here's a picture of it. It is a free pattern on their website. This is a project that, well, first of all, Gabby is my youngest daughter. If you're new, you might not know that. She used to be on these videos with me, but when she graduated high school and started college, she got a lot busier, so she hasn't been on a video. Well, she basically, we can just say she dropped out a year or so ago. She does still craft some, but not very much, so she doesn't want to be on here with the pressure to show progress, which is cool. So Gabby and I dyed this fabric ourselves. This is a 14 count Aida. And we were stitching this piece together, she and I. She started this owl here, and I did all the other things that were originally here, but then I decided that it would be really cool. Well, actually, my bonus child asked if she could stitch a couple, and I said sure, and after that I was like, oh my goodness, I should have all my kids stitch one. So now I have, let's see, I'm not sure which of these. I think my son did this one. My son Corwin did this one, but it might be the one over here. It looks similar. It might be this one. I'm not sure. At the end, when everyone's owls are done and the whole piece is finished, I'm going to put names or initials near the ones people did. But so he did this one or this one. I'm not sure which. Gabby started this one, and she claimed the big one in the center. My daughter Jennifer did this little one here, and this fellow way over here. And so far, they're the only ones who've done the owls they stitched. But this is the whole piece, as much as I can, oops, really get into it. Yeah, that's as far down as it goes. And let's see. This is 2/1 full cross, and I started this on February 3rd of 2024, and it was for the hashtag Superb Owl Sal, which was hosted by the Stitchers Collective. So that is WIP number 1. Obviously, I'm not going to count these because I will lose count very quickly. Okay, the next one, well, this one I haven't worked on yet this year. It's only in the current pile because it's a July WIP. It's a WIP for this month, but I haven't done any yet, so I'll save that. So the next one is the summer sampler. This is the one I don't have a cover photo for. It's a free pattern. Oops. This is my current daily 30 stitch. It's on 14 count pink Ada. I did not dye this one, it just came pink. It's a vintage piece. It's 2/1 full cross, and I started this April 6th of 2026, so this is actually very current. Also, I do want to say that I almost exclusively use DMC floss. So if it's something that's not DMC, I'll just tell you that. Otherwise, you can assume that it's DMC. All right, the next one is Haunted Lighthouse, the Mill Hill kit. I started this May 1st, 2026. This, okay, originally this was started with Lisa Stitching with Lou, who's in the comments of a lot of videos, and Katie, Jeremiah's mom. We all had the kit and decided to stitch it together. And Katie wanted to do it in honor of her mother, so we just all kind of joined in that. And after we started, Michael from Uplift Stitches and Catherine and Kelly My Stitches both discovered that they had the kit too, and they wanted to start with us, which is very cool. So this is what I've done. It's hard to see. Most recently I've filled in the sky up here. And I will say this. Okay, first of all, it's all kit stuff. So it's black perforated paper, and it's the Mill Hill beads and floss. And I will say this, all of this white here, I thought was where paint had peeled off of this. The paint did not peel off. I had it up against this little cover thing, and apparently it peeled off some of this plasticky paper and stuck to this. So I'm hoping after I stitch it that won't show up. But if you were wondering what all the white splotches are, they're from the cover. So I didn't know that would happen. But that is my Haunted Lighthouse. Okay, the next one is Quaker Tiles flag. I didn't tell where the summer sampler came from. This summer sampler and the other 3 seasons all came from Gazette94.blogspot.com. They're all free patterns on there. You know the Mill Hill already. Okay, this one is Quaker Tiles flag. It's the USA flag. It's by Bivsters on Etsy. I originally started this July 5th of 2025, and I was doing it 2/1 right here on 18 count fiddler's cloth. And because it's pretty much a full coverage piece and this was so thick, I didn't like it. So July 4th of this year, I finally did the restart. I just moved it to the opposite corner so I wouldn't have to frog anything yet. And this is, whoopsie, this is 1 thread over 1 on the 18 count fiddler's cloth. And it is working much better like this. It's not going to get too chonky, and it still has good coverage. I don't know how well it's showing up, to be honest. It's a rainy day, so it's kind of dim. But yeah, I like that much better. And I was starting this in honor of our 250th anniversary of our country. I had hoped to have a lot more done by the actual anniversary, and that didn't happen, so that's fine. Okay, the next one I have is another Owl Forest. I don't have a cover picture for it, so I'll put one in. This is called Pride and Prejudice Pemberley. I originally started this for Jane Austen's 250th birthday, which I started this December 1st of 2025. Her birthday was just sometime in December. I don't remember when. But I don't know if it's showing up, so I'll bring it in real close. So that's when I originally started it. This is 28 count Monaco that IT dyed. It's 2/2 full cross, and it is currently out for two reasons. One, I'm doing the Stitch and Owl Sal for Karen, the Stitching Owl's birthday, which is July. I don't know the exact date, but she said in July. So it's out for that, but also I'm doing the Patchy Ponies fortnightly floss off, where you have projects assigned to letters of the alphabet, and it has to go by either the title of the project or the title of the designer, and she's randomly spinning the letters. So she picked, it started July 1st. The first letter picked was P, and this is Pride and Prejudice Pemberley. So I have to do 300 stitches on it for that. But that is Pemberley. The next one is called Whale. It's a pattern from Happy Little Mouse on Etsy. This is what it looks like, or what it will look like. I started this for Stitching with Charlie's Well Hello There Sal for her birthday. This is also on a 14 count Aida. I have a lot of 14 count Aida right now. I'm actually running out of it, so there are other projects being started on different fabrics now. But for years, I had tons and tons of this fabric. So this is 14 count Aida. I hand dyed myself. It's DMC. It's 2/1 full cross. And I started it May 3rd of this year. The next one is another Mill Hill kit. This one is called Koi Pond. This is what it will look like. Try to keep that glare off. This one's on, they call it like a misty lime perforated paper. It's kind of a yellowy green. And that is how much I've done on this. And I started this on April 2nd of 2025. I think this was one of my birthday starts. I think last year I started 4 projects for my birthday. I just wanted to go crazy. So I think that was one of them. I know this was one of them. This one was a little bit later though, because I didn't have, it was a birthday start, but I got it with birthday money. And so right when I got it in the mail, I'm like, yep, I'm starting it right now. This is Floating House, the Fabulous House series. It's number 9. So this one is DMC, but there is one, I think it's a Color and Cotton. No, sorry, it's Classic Colorworks. So there's one Classic Colorworks in that. And this is what the project looks like. And I have hanging threads on most of these, so I apologize for that. Oh, where's my paper? This is, I started April 20th of 2025. It's 18 count Aida, which I hand dyed gray, and it's 2/1 full cross. So there's not a lot done on that, but I love it. All right, the next one is called Together Dogs. This is a kit Gabby got me a few years ago for my birthday. I don't remember what year now. Probably the year I started it. Let me see. 2024. So that's the pattern. It's a Dimensions Needle Crafts kit. So I started it October 28th of 2024. And I only put a little bit of progress in it this year, but I have worked on it some, so that's something. This is 14 count Aida that comes with it, and it's called Ivory, and I'm doing this 2/1 full cross with all the kit stuff, kit fabric, kit floss. On the next one, I believe this is my new start. It's called Bunny Friends. It's for my granddaughter. It's on a vintage Aida fabric that Harpy Stitch destashed in one of her videos. It's from Etsy, a shop called The Stitch Patterns. We have changed the colors so that it would show up better on this fabric. The first bunny color was this color. It didn't show up at all. And then we had to change the pink dress so it wouldn't clash with these flowers. But it's a 14 count vintage fabric. I'm doing 2/1 full cross, and I started this on June 10th of this year. All right, let me take a little hydration break, as they do in the FIFA. All right, excuse me. So the next one, sorry. I'm so sorry, excuse me. The next one is, it's my Heaven and Earth, what do you call it, 2026 Stitch Along. It's called Bluebell. This is on a 22 count hard hanger. It's my first time on that. And it's 1/1 full cross. I'll bring it in so you can see the coverage on that. It's fairly good. I know, oops, you can see through it. So that helps. There we go. So 1/1 full cross, 22 count hard hanger. And I actually started this on December 27th of 2025 because they released the pattern a few days early. And I was aiming for these 6 full pages. And I don't know if I'm going to make that or not. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I even care to make it anymore. I think I've decided that I'd just rather stitch the things I want to stitch when I want to stitch it and not put that kind of pressure on me. And I do like some of the patterns that you would win at the end of the year if you do the 6 pages, but I just don't know if it's worth sacrificing most of my stitching time for an entire year to do that. So I'm still going to work on it, but I'm not working on it exclusively. Okay, the next 3 are all from the Cross Stitch in the Forest book, so I'm going to do them all together, even though I haven't worked on them all this year. This is the first one. It's called Autumn Drizzle. These are all by Max Pigeon. So the first one I'm doing is on, hold on, I lost my little note card. Uh-oh. I had a card for each of these. Oh man, it blew in the floor. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, this I started on October 17th of 2025. It's on a 16 count fiddler's cloth. I'm doing it 2/1 full cross, and I started this with Karen the Stitching Owl and other people who I don't remember who they are because I didn't know them at the time. And that is where I've gotten. And again, this is with the DMC. And the next one, I put little sticky tabs where they are. The next one is Aurora. This is actually the first one I started from this book after my son gifted it to me for my birthday. So this one I started March 19th of 2025 on a 14 count black Aida, which is what it called for, and it's 2/1 full cross. And the only reason I started with this one is because I already had the black Aida and all the purples in stash. So there's that one. And that's called Aurora. I don't know if I said that already. And the last one is called Heron at Dawn. I started this for Melanie at Uplift Stitches. Did a hashtag birthday sal this year. So I started this on March 1st of 2026. And this is on like a coral colored fabric. It is 14 count Aida. It's like a coral color. It's showing up pretty well. And it is right side up. And this is a Painting Fairy fabric. It was a piece of fabric that when you placed an order with them, it was like a flash sale, and they asked if you wanted this, and it was either $1 or $2. It was very, very cheap. So I said yes, and I do love the color. It's gorgeous. And I'm doing it 2/1 full cross. So that is all of the Max Pigeons. The next one, I also don't have a picture for this one, so I'll pop one up. It's called Water Lilies. It's from a collection of patterns that I bought called Tiny Masterpieces. And I think there are 70 famous paintings that have been charted for cross stitch. And I think it was 70. It's a lot of them that I got. So this is Water Lilies. This one's for my mom. There we go. This is on 18 count white Aida, 2/1 full cross. And I started this on August 16th of 2025. And it's not very big. I shouldn't still be working on it, but I am. Right. The next one is called Fish in a Bottle. This is what it was supposed to look like. Now this is my hashtag Make It Murder Sal, which is hosted by Cross Stitch the Globe. Oh, pardon me. This was the 2024 Stitch Along. So that's what it would have originally looked like. But the point of the Stitch Along is to take a cute pattern and then make it like a murder scene somehow. Do something to it to make it murdery. So what I did, well, let me show you this first. I took this big fish out, and I took all of the bottle stuff out. So it's just straight across. It just looks like a cross section like of a lake. And so there's none of that. There's none of the bottle around it. And then in the middle, I charted with my husband, because I'm not a very good artist, but I tried, this corpse. And there's an anchor weighing him down, pulling him to the bottom of the lake. And when I get to the top, there will be a man in a boat driving away. So it's a body dump scene. And this was my daily 30, I think for May. If I'm not mistaken. So I made a lot of progress on all the blue background during May. Oh, I didn't tell you all the stats. Okay, I started that September 13th of 2024. I told you why. It's 25 count Lugana. The color is natural. And I'm doing it 2/1 full cross. And then the corpse, the charm, and the boat with the little guy are all charted, mostly by my husband. Because mine, I'm going to be honest, came out really bad. Okay. The next two are stamped cross stitch kits that I bought. I got them a few years ago. I didn't know at the time about the Chinese companies stealing artwork to do. So these are probably stolen. I really have no way of knowing. But I bought the kits, so I will stitch them. There are 4 of them total. I've started 2. One of them actually I gave to my daughter-in-law. It was Harry Potter-esque, and she was learning to cross-stitch, so I gave it to her. And the last one I haven't started yet. This one I just call Lady Snowman. And I do work on this on the rare occasions when it snows here, which is not often, so it is not... it hasn't gotten much progress. It's very hard to see, but this down here in the corner is all I've done. It's like snow and scenery, and you can, okay, I did a little over here too apparently. But basically that's all I've done on this piece. Also, I didn't know how to buy stamped kits, so I ended up with 11 count, which I had never stitched on 11 count until I got these kits. So I'm actually using 3 strands over 1 for both of these kits. The second one I call Jungle Cat because they're not all named. And this one, excuse me, this one has an astounding amount of progress. This was another one I started for my birthday start. Actually, I started this one on my birthday in 2024. So this was April 10th, 2024. And only progress I've made is up here in the corner. But I worked on this recently. I was having a really bad day. And Gabby's like, you need something. She brought me a piece of chocolate, and she just pulled one of my project bags out, and she said, here, work on this, eat this, you'll feel better. And the one she got me had, the floss was all missing because I pilfered it for a different kit. And I said, I don't really have the mental capacity right now to be counting and doing all that anyway. So I just asked her to hand me the stamped kit. So I worked on, excuse me, it's floss tube throat. I worked on this up here. This is a parrot, and all I did recently was work on some of this background. But I love these colors. They're gorgeous, blues and teals. But also this one is 11 count, so I'm doing it 3 over 1. Okay, that is, nope, there's one more. The last one in the I haven't worked on it yet pile, I don't know. Okay, the last stamped kit I actually did work on one day this year, so it's in the wrong pile, but that's okay. This is Temperature Dragon. This is for the temperatures from 2024. Gabby and I both started this on January 1st of 2024, and I'm stitching the high temperature for the day, and she's stitching the low. I'm only showing you mine though, because she hasn't worked on hers for a few years. Maybe since 2024, but I don't know. I haven't worked on this one much lately. Actually, I don't think I've worked on this at all this year. I think this was last year still when I was working on it. I think most progress on things stopped when I started the Haid Sal this year. And I haven't picked a lot of them back up yet. But I will. This is by a shop named Christy D. Clemente. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I did start this January 1st of 2024. It's on 14 count white Aida, 2 over 1 full cross. And I believe I left off in July, but I might be still. I don't know if I'm working in June or July on this piece, but it's very old, so it needs to be finished. All right, the next pile, these are projects that okay, that first pile was stuff I did work on this year. So I got my piles mixed up. That's why it was in that one. I have worked on those this year. This is the pile I have not worked on yet this year. So the first one is Summer in the Village. This is another Owl Force embroidery pattern. It is on 18 count Aida, which I tea-dyed. And it's 2 over 1 full cross, and I've done my own DMC conversion using their variegateds. So that is the tiny start that I have. But this is a project that all the Owl Forest embroidery projects are probably going to get worked on at least a little bit in the month of July for Karen, the Stitching Owls, Stitch an Owl B-Days Owl. And she said you can stitch an owl as in the bird or owl as in an Owl Forest embroidery. So I have all my Owl Forest embroideries out to work on this one. Okay, I already said 18 count Aida tea-dyed, started on June 28th of 2025. And probably only worked on like once. Excuse me, my last Owl Forest project is a kit that one of my other daughters got me for my birthday. It's called Swan Lake. I don't have a picture, so I'll have to pop one in. And it's a kit. It was a birthday start again from last year because that's when I was gifted it. So I started this April 15th of 2025. And this is a 32 count Belfast linen. It's gray, and I'm doing it 2/2 full cross. And it's Alforced fabric and thread, and I love it. They're really nice to work with, both of them. All right, the next one I have no picture for is the Deadly Aquarium Sal. This is a stitch along from Lola Crow, and it was in 2024. This is 18 count Ada, which I hand dyed, 2/1 full cross here. And this might be in the wrong pile because I have worked, actually this is in the wrong pile because I have worked on this year. There were just so many projects that I prepped for this video over several days, and by the end of prepping, which was last night after the US soccer game, is when I finished it up, and I was just like, apparently not thinking right at that time, because that was in the wrong pile. So the next one is a free pattern by DMC. I do not have a picture for this one either. This is 18 count fiddler's cloth. I think it's called American Flag Map. If it's not called that, I made the name up. I'm not sure because it's a long time ago. I started this July 4th, 2024, and I'm doing it 2/1 full cross. And it's so tiny, it should already be done, as with many of these projects actually. All right, the next one is called Choose Your Own Adventure. This is from Stitchonomy on Etsy. It's divided into 4 sections. So there's the sky, there's the camper or the tent, there's the grill and the fire pit, and then there's the cat or the dog. So you pick which one of them you want to do, and you drop them into the pattern and stitch them. But this is my 2025 Make It Murder Sal for Cross Stitch the Globe. So the choices I made are as follows. I chose Night Sky, but this is 14 count Ada, which I hand dyed to look like a night sky, so I wouldn't have to stitch anything except the moon and the stars, which I haven't done them yet, but there's the moon. I chose the tent instead of the camper. I will do the bonfire instead of the grill. I'm leaving the pet out. I charted this stump here and the blood dripping down it, and I have an axe charm that I will attach at some point, and there will be like a bloody trail and footsteps, but I'm not sure if they're going to go this way to the trees or this way to the trees yet. So that is my murderized Choose Your Own Adventure. I started that September 2nd of 2025, and it is 2/1 full cross. The next one is called Twilight Moon. It's by a Tiny Modernist. This I started July 8th of 2025. I started it with Daybreak Stitcher. She was doing a hashtag Sentimental Moon Sal. And this is on 25 count Lugana that I hand dyed. And it is another conversion that I did using DMC variegated, except for the moon, which the DMC variegated didn't look good, the browns that they had. So I'm doing a blend of 2 different DMC colors for the moon, but everything else are the DMC variegateds. All right, the next one is Wind Moon Fairy. This is what she'll look like. This is my first ever Fancy Lady. I started this, okay. First of all, this is by Neen Thomas. It's on 14 count Ada, which I dyed. And I started it for 2 birthdays. One was Allison from Cross Stitch to Globe. She was doing a birthday Princess Sal. And the other one was Mrs. Hannah Wolstenholme did it for Hannah's Fancy Lady B-Day Sal. Excuse me. So this I started January 1st of 2024. This is fabric that I dyed, 14 count Ada. Also I made the needle minder to go with the little moon. I also made the project bag and the zipper pull that matched this. This was because I was getting ready for this in December. I was really eager to start it, but we weren't supposed to start till January 1st. So I just kept making other little things that fit the theme. So that's my first Fancy Lady. She needs more work, bless her heart. I don't know about you guys, but doing the WIP Parade, I feel like is going to derail all of my plans for the rest of the year, because once I've gotten all these out, I want to work on like everything. Excuse me. And I made all these plans for July, and the plans to do the Heaven and Earth stitch along, plans to do the Patchy Pony thing. So I don't know, touching all these WIPs might derail my plans. We'll have to wait and see. So this project is called Weirdos. This is a picture that I found online, and my husband put it into one of the pattern makers and charted it for me, but we're not selling it, so it's okay. I started this on August 17th of 2023. It has been quite some time since I've worked on it. Oh, I don't know if I said I call it Weirdos. And my husband charted it on pixelstitch.net. This is how far I've gone. 14 count white Ada, 2/1 full cross. And it's, the reason it's taking me so long is because I'm taking out all of this background and I'm cropping it to about here-ish. But because his little weapons, I don't know what kind of swords they are, katanas or whatever, who knows, they kind of go up above the heart. So I'm doing the heart and his weapons, but I have to crop all of that as I go, and it's not easy because some of the colors that are out here are also in his costume and in here. Same with down here. Some of the same colors are used outside the heart, so it's slow going, but it'll get there eventually. All right, the next one is Hogwarts. This was charted by Dark X Stitch, Nadia. She used to sell her patterns on Etsy, but now she has a Facebook group and she just gave them all away when she closed her Etsy shop. So I started this one originally December 7th, 2024. I started it on, I think it was like an 18 count Ada or something like that. And I was like, no, this is going to be way too big. So I bought 28 count Monaco. I hand dyed it gray, and I restarted it on March 9th of 2025 on this piece. So on this one, I'm doing 2/1 tent stitch. This is the only piece I think that I'm doing in a tent stitch. And all I've done so far is background. I know there's several other people doing this and they've cropped a lot of it out, but before I realized other people were doing that, I had already restarted it a second time, so I'm not starting over again. All right, the next one is called 7 Species. This is by Cooler Design Studio. That's Hebrew. It means life. It's Chai is the word, and it means life. I started this on December 26th of 2024. It's on a 16 count white Aida. I have stitched this pattern before years ago. I stitched it for the elder of our synagogue. And we got a real nice frame and gifted it to him, and he loved it, but he died like 10 years ago. And so I'm stitching it again, so we'll have in our house. I don't know if I said this is 16 count white Aida, and it's 2/1 full cross. And I center started, so this is all I've done. But I love this pattern. I love working. This is not done on black fabric. It's done on white, and all of these are stitches. It's not black. It's actually, I think it's 33.71, but I haven't worked on this since last year, so I'm not sure. But yeah, 12/26/2024 is when I started it. I do need to work on it some more, but I love working it because you just go from one section to another. So technically, if I get bored of like the reds, I could move over here and work purples, and just there's so many different sections of colors that I can just move to a new location if I want to. I probably won't. I'll probably just pick up a different pattern, but I could. That's the fun in these kind of projects. Okay, the next one, I don't have a picture for this one at all. This is a pattern from ages ago, and I mean like 80s or 90s, that my mom had in her stash. So I know nothing about it except that it's called Stan the Snowman. Smiling Stan the Snowman. I'm not sure. I just called him Stan the Snowman, but he actually has a name, but there's no picture I can show you. I started this December 27th of 2024. This is 25 count Lugana, and the color is called Steel Blue. I'm doing 2/2 full cross. Oh, our screen door is open. Hold on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. The screen door hadn't gotten shut, so it blew open. Anyway, so that is my Smiling Stan Snowman, or whatever his name is. Bless his heart. Okay, the next one is called Mount Vernon Mansion with shell border. This is a kit that is not focusing. This is a kit that my grandmother bought from their gift shop a long time ago, and she had it for a really long time, and one year she said, "Do you want this? I'm never going to stitch this." And I said, "Sure." But I never started it until after she died. So this is the kit is by the Posy collection. This is my leap day start, so I started it February 29th of 2024. It's shameful that that's all I've gotten. It is kit fabric, kit floss. It's like an ivory colored Aida, but also I think it needs to be washed. And it's 2/1 full cross. But yeah, my grandparents smoked, and seeing this with the natural light, I think that is not the actual fabric color. I think it's like nicotine. I think I need to wash it and see if it comes out. Oh, oops. There's that one. Okay, the next one is the Arctic Animal Salve by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was the 2024 stitch along. I started this May 9th of 2024. This is on a 28 count Monaco, which I hand dyed. I'm doing 2/2 full cross. It is DMC, but there will be a petite treasure braid at some point. And the walrus, when I was stitching him, it just felt like his name was Frankie. So I named him Frankie. And then discovered that when I stitched the bunny, her name should be Nova for my granddaughter. So I named her Nova. So now all the guys have to have names. Some of them I've already named, I just haven't stitched it yet. But it it has been ages since I've worked on this one. So when I get back to that, I'll have to give those other people, other animals names. Okay, the next one, which I forgot, was an owl forest embroidery. So this actually makes 5 owl forest embroideries I'm doing. It's in a collection of, I think they call them holiday biscornus. I think there were 10 or so patterns. This one is called Candle Biscornu, and because of the colors and candles, to me it screamed Hanukkah. So I started this December 29th of 2024. It's on a 25 count Lugana. The color is Pearl, and it's 2/2 full cross. I guess I can use a small board for this one because it's little. And that is what I've done. Oops. Okay, so hanging threads are messy. Apologies. So that's that one. The next one, there were a lot, okay, because a lot of people do Flossmas, and I like watching Flossmas videos. In 2024, when Gabby was still on here with me, we did 8 days of Hanukkah. So every day of Hanukkah, she picked a kit for me to stitch, and I started it. That's why there's so many started in December of 2024. This one, I'll have to pop a picture in. It's called Polar Bear by Doreen Jones. I started this one December 31st, 2024. It's a 14 count Ada, also hand dyed by me. Possibly me and Gabby, I'm not sure at the time. And I'm doing 2/1 full cross. And all of these winter ones, I want to pick back up in the autumn and see if I can get them finished by winter. Okay, the next one is called Wandering in Middle Earth, Stitch Your Own Adventure. This is by Cunning Cross Stitch. It's a group on Facebook. This is another one where you get to pick, okay, hold on, let me back up. 14 count Ada, T-dyed, 2/1 full cross. This one, he wrote chapters that go with each section, and each section has lots of variations that you can choose from. So I'm doing the spring tree. Gabby picked the summer tree, so it's all greens. And I recharted the color of the lanterns so that it would be it was charted with some of the same pinks that were in the tree, and those lanterns didn't show up. So I recharted it with different colors. This is the end that I picked. The Hobbit hole has 3 sections, and there's a bunch of different choices for each section. So you just pick the different pieces you want and stitch it. And there's so many choices that whenever there's that many choices, I just freeze. I'm like, I don't know if I picked the right, but I picked this window because there's lots of different window choices to pick from. And then I picked this end that had the siding and the rose bush. So that's all I've done. I do have a few more of the choices already made. I just haven't gotten back to it in ages. And a lot of people have finished theirs. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I like it because every chapter, so there's the top, which I just showed you, and then there's a bottom border, which is the same for everyone. And then in between the two, there's different elements that you can choose from, and you just put them into that space. So it's a block, a block, a block. It's not a cohesive piece. So I don't think I like it like that. I think what I'd rather do is stitch them separately and have separate pieces. So I think when I finish the entire Hobbit hole, I think I'll just cut that off from the rest of the fabric and fully finish it like that. And then any of the other chapters that I want to do, I can use the same fabric for and just cut them apart. I don't like it all together. But that's future me's problem. Okay, the next one is Sherlock Holmes. It's by Stitch People. It's tiny, but it's not just cross stitch. There's also like embroidery stitches here, which is probably why I stopped working on it. That and the fact that we quit watching Sherlock Holmes. Excuse me, I started this on, what does that say? February 19th, 2024. This is a mystery piece of linen that a friend of mine gave me because I never stitched on linen before. And it's 2/2 full cross. And I basically had to pick my own colors because this is using a DMC that was from my mom's stash, and a lot of the colors have been like renumbered. So I don't know any off the top of my head, but some of them, the shades look a little different, but some of them have been completely renumbered. Like it'll go from, it used to be a red and now it's some kind of blue. So I changed my colors a lot in different projects, and I pick what colors I want, or what, if it's on a fabric that it's not showing up well, you know, I change colors. And some of the free patterns that I do don't assign colors. You pick your own. So for all of the projects like that, I use the floss from my mom's stash, because then I don't have to worry about, let me rephrase. I've gone through every one of them in her stash, compared it to what it should look like today. If it is very close, then I'll use it as that number. But if it's completely different, I put those all in a separate box. Those I use whenever I get to pick my own colors or whatever. So it doesn't matter what the number is, it's the wrong number. This is all I've gotten. It's not really focusing very well. There's a magic trick that people do to make it focus, and I don't usually get it to work. So I hope you can see that. It's not a big start. Okay, the next one is a fungi book cell. This was done by Living on the Rainbow. It is going to be a little book with all the pages when it's finished. But all I've been working on is the cover, and I haven't worked on it at all this year. This is what it looks like. The only thing that's missing is there's supposed to be some Krynic. Oh no. Okay, never mind. It's not missing anymore. I gave up on the Krynic and I had to get a DMC metallic because the one that it was calling for was sold out for so long. So I started this May 4th, 2024, 18 count white Aida, which I'm pretty sure is what it called for. And then the pages are charted on some other kind of fabric that I don't know off the top of my head. But that is that one. Okay, the next one is from the Downton Abbey Retreat in a Box that I did last year for my birthday. This is the pattern that was for this retreat. It's called I Am a Custodian. This is from the Black Needle Society. I started this April 9th, 2025. That is the pattern. And I had never done a retreat in a box before, and this was seasons 1 and 2. So they've done they did another season, I think 3 and 4 this spring. I didn't do it. And I'm going to be honest, it's like, I don't know, $150, $175, something like that to do the retreat in a box. I did have a lot of fun doing this, but I am on a very limited budget, and to me, even though I had fun, it didn't seem worth the price to do it again, okay? I do Zoom stitches with people now, so I can get my people fix that away. I wasn't very good at all the games that they did. It was fun for an experience one time, but it was a lot of stress trying to stitch that much over the weekend and take pictures before and after and just so many things. I don't think that was for me. So I opted out of this year's retreat, and I'm really glad I did because I saw the pattern. I don't like it. I saw the stuff in the box. There were a couple cute things, but not enough that I would have wanted to pay that kind of money for. So, all of that to say, I did the piece of fabric the way they said, where you get the fabric big enough to do all the seasons on. So they had 2 sizes. They said if you just want to stitch this pattern by itself, this is the size fabric you need. But if you want to stitch all the retreats for Downton Abbey on the same fabric, because they're supposed to be, you know, together, cohesive, then you stitch it on this size fabric. So I did the big fabric so I could do them all. And you know what? I didn't like the pattern, and it wasn't going to be cohesive at all. It was going to have this in the middle, and then there's like a whole nother, the one for this one was a whole nother picture and quote and everything, and I wouldn't have wanted it on this fabric if I had picked it. So that, I don't know, that's disappointing. I've seen some of their patterns. Some of them are really cute, but I do think they're seriously overpriced. And I know it's a small business, but I'm on a budget, and they don't offer any smaller packages. Like, you can't get just the box. You have to buy the box and pay for retreat access. So it's a lot more expensive. But so I started this April 9th, 2025. It's 28 count Monaco. It's tea-dyed, 2/2 full cross, and it's DMC except for one which is a Simply Shaker Gentle Arts or something like that. And it's called, I think it's called Ember. But it's all of this border color, and it's like, it goes from a bright red to dark red. It's real pretty. It's not showing up well. So I do like this pattern. I will finish this pattern, but I don't know if I'll ever do one of their retreat in a box again. They're just very expensive, and I don't think it's worth it. Now, some of the other stitchy boxes they have, like they did a Saturday morning cartoon one. They have some Gilmore Girls patterns in their vault that I like, that you can buy just the pattern. Things like that. I do like some of the stuff. I just think that it's way more than I'm willing to spend. Okay, the next 2 also have a bit of a story. Excuse me, if you've been here for a long time, then you know this story already. But if you have not, then it's a new story. So this is the Langford crest. This is my husband's family's crest. Really long time ago, like 2013 is the year I estimate, he took a picture of his family's crest and he put it into one of the pattern makers. One of the pattern maker things online. And this is what we got. I worked on it for years. I took several years hiatus, worked on it some more, and realized that I did not like all of the way that the arrows were colored. It's supposed to make it the actual crest, they are standing away from the coat of arms, so there's shadow behind it. I didn't like how it was charted on that, so he recharted it using fewer colors, because you can pick how many colors do you want to use when you chart it. We thought it would work, and the arrows look a little better, but the rest of it does not look as good. And so I have now started this pattern twice. So the first one, which is this was charted with a lot more colors, so it's got a lot more confetti. I started roughly June 30th of 2013. It's on a 14 count white Aida, 2/1 full cross, and it used to be on scroll bars, and I didn't used to keep it covered, and we've got animals, and we had a house full of children. So the fabric needs to be cleaned. But this is how much I did. Way back here. That's how much I've done. I did make this my focus piece last year. So I worked on it 7 days every month last year, and I made a lot of progress like that. And I only stopped because of the Heaven and Earth sale for this year. But this was the first way that I did it. Then after we recharted it, I started it again. And this one I started on, I didn't put the date. I have no idea what the date was. I'm sorry. I have no idea when I restarted it. I think it was maybe 2022 or 2023. I'm not exactly sure. But I did it also on 14 count Aida. This one had like half the colors. There's a very long dangling thread. This is all I've done on this one. And it turned out, after I stitched this, that I liked the other one better. I thought it looked better. So I went back to the other one. That's when I made it a focus piece. But our older son asked me, after I finished the one for us and framed it and hung it up, if I would finish this one for him. And I told him yes. But I'm going to be honest, I'm probably never going to finish the second one. I don't know why I kept it out. I guess in case I decided to. But I probably won't. Probably what's going to happen is I'll finish the one that's better, frame it, we'll hang it, and then when we die, he will inherit it because he is the only Langford to carry on the name. He's the only Langford boy to carry on the name. That's a long story. We do have another son, but his last name is not Langford. He has my maiden name. For our two youngest children have my maiden name because we weren't technically married yet. So, yeah. So technically the older son is the only one that's a Langford. Now they're all Langford blood, obviously, but he already has children, so he can pass it on to his children when he dies, whereas our younger son does not have children. So I'll probably just finish this one, and Patrick will get it when we die. I hate to think like that, but you know how it is. It's life. So pardon me for a hydration break. And caffeine. Okay, the next piece. This is a pattern that Stitch Bunny did as a fundraiser for her kids' school. They go to a private school, and I think they needed new, playground equipment. So she charted a pattern to raise money from the floss tube community for her children's private school to get new playground equipment. So grow in love and faith is what it says. So I bought this pattern for her fundraiser. I started it on November 7th of 2024. It is a 16 count mystery Aida from a friend of mine. A friend of mine gave me some different fabrics to try when I discovered that there was more than just 14 count Aida. Yes, I probably was living under a rock because I didn't know that until 3 or 4 years ago. So she gave me a few different ones to try. This is as far as I've gotten. It's 2/1 full cross, and there's really nothing else I can say about it. It's a sad little start. Okay, the next one is another stamped cross stitch kit. This is another mistake that I made, but this was a different mistake. This is called European Town. It is a Painting Fairy stamped kit. They were a new company that kept advertising last year. So I finally got it. This one is a 16 count, and I started it September 6th, 2025. The problem was most patterns are measured in stitches, like 130 stitches by whatever. So when I saw what I thought was a stitch count, I was like, oh yeah, that's great. I want that. I bought the kit, I got it, and it turned out that was centimeters that it was measured in. It was like 130 centimeters or whatever. I don't know centimeters. Apparently, this is actually 897 stitches by 150. So, it is 5 feet wide. I measured it when I first got this kit. This is the fabric all the way to there. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was centimeters. That's my mistake. But all I've stitched are the top of these trees right there, which, let me give you a little board. Top of those trees. And it's like a light grayish lavender right there. That's it. It's very unwieldy. Yeah. So now I'm very careful when I'm shopping for patterns and stuff. I'm very careful to make sure, is that centimeters or is that stitches? Because this is massive. But I did see somebody not fully finished. I saw somebody who had stitched the entire project, and that's why when I saw that they were selling it as a kit, I was like, oh my goodness, yes, that's gorgeous. I've seen it done. It's beautiful. So that's that one. And then the last piece that I have in this pile that I haven't worked on at all this year is Murder Shows and Comfy Clothes. This is one that Gabby and I were both going to do on hoodies that I bought. She basically has not cross-stitched in years. She has mostly just been crocheting lately. And she said she didn't really want to stitch this, and I said that's no problem. She's moved out anyway, so I told her she could just have the sweatshirt and she could do whatever she wants on it. But well, it's a hoodie. So, but I am still doing my hoodie. This is as far as I've gotten. I haven't worked on it this year. But the Murder Shows and Comfy Clothes I thought would just be so stinking cute on a comfy hoodie. So eventually I will finish it. Oh. Okay, it's by Demented Stitchers on Etsy. I started this December 9th, 2023, which happens to be my sister's birthday. And because it is, because it's going to be washed repeatedly, I'm doing it 4 strands. I'm using this waste canvas, and on the inside, instead of just going through stitches like you would to anchor your thread, I'm actually taking 2 ends and tying them in knots so that the floss won't come undone in the wash. So it is going to be super, super cool when I finally have that done and can wear it. Okay, the final pile is basically a pile of stuff that hasn't been worked on in so long I couldn't even begin to tell you, except for the first 2. The first 2 are projects my husband started and has decided he's not going to cross stitch them, which this is the one he started first. This one he started years and years ago, probably about the same time I started the family crest, so probably about 2013. This is a kit. It's called Designs for the Needle. I don't know where the kit came from. Probably Michael's. I think that's all we had back then. This is his start. It's the wolf ears. And this is how it's been shoved in a manila envelope for the past 13 years. But he said he's never going to stitch it. So it is now my problem when I'm ready to work on this, I will take it and iron it, excuse me, and do that. But I have a little card for it. This is what happens when you film a floss tube before you're fully awake. You know what? I might not have written a card for this. So this looks like 18 count fiddler's cloth. I don't think it's 16. I think it's 18 count fiddler's cloth. And like I said, I estimate about 2013 is when he started it, and it is a kit. So kit floss, kit fabric, and I'm sorry I didn't write a note card for it, so that's all I know. The second one is a pattern he started more recently. He started this last year. He loves crows. He's been befriending the crows in the last 2 houses we've lived in. It says crows before bros, support your local murder. So this is 14 count Ada, which I dyed a dark gray. This is what he wanted. And he is using a DMC, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the sparkly DMC. It doesn't show the sparkle right now. This is as far as he got, but he picked 4 flosses. So he has a solid black, which I think he wanted the words done in. Then he has a sparkly black, which he wanted the crow done in. And then there's a very dark blue that he wasn't sure what he was going to do with. And one other color that I don't remember. But he couldn't remember his plan for it. He's already said he's not going to stitch it. And basically, he didn't ask me to stitch it for him, but he said he's not going to stitch it. So I will do it for him because he really likes this pattern. But I took it out to work on one day, and he couldn't remember how he wanted it done. So I said, well, I'm not going to work on it right now. Then let's give it some thought, because I don't want to make those decisions for him, because he had an idea in mind. So I'll just let him remember how he wanted it, and then I'll do that. But he started it March 10th of last year, and it's 2/1 full cross. So at some point I will work on that for him. And the last ones, I don't know the last time this thing was worked on. This is a Jan Lynn kit that I got. Again, I actually probably got this from Walmart, but it could have been Michael's, because at the time that's all we had where we could get cross-stitch stuff. Now we have a Hobby Lobby. But this is the pattern. Oh, I didn't show you the picture. Sorry. So it's a Jan Lynn kit. I started this for my brother so long ago, I don't remember. This probably was before even 2013 when I started the family crest. Because this has blends, and it had a lot of fractional stitches and so many things going on to it that I didn't know how to do, and crazy amounts of backstitch that I was not having fun with, because it's Ada. The kit fabric, I think, is 14 count Ada. No, it says 11 count. Is this really 11 count? Apparently I have stitched on 11 count, because this is 11 count. But I started this ages ago for my brother, and I just didn't like all the fractional stitches and back stitching and the blends and all that stuff. Now I have a lot more experience with those kind of things. So when I start working on it again, it won't be as much of a problem, other than the fact that it's 11 count Ada. But yeah, that's been ages since I've worked on that. And then this one, this is embroidery. This is called the Winter Splendor. This was an embroidery stitch along from 2022 that Gabby and I both started. And that is as much as I've done. It's super adorable. We both finished this, and then I went up to the birdhouse, and she went down to this pine tree, because obviously it was way over by the time we got to that point. But it's a really cute thing. I just don't do a lot of embroidery. And if it were more wintry here. I think all of these winter projects would get a lot more work on them, but it's not, so. Oh, I do have, I don't know if I showed this. This is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. It's very cute. And neither one of us had really done much embroidery when we started it. I had done one little, excuse me, I did a monogrammed handkerchief that I hand sewed for a friend of mine when she moved away. And I did a little tiny little seahorse on one of my pajama shirts because it was a tagless and I couldn't tell the front from the back anymore until I put it on, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right, and I have to take it off and turn it around. So yeah, I finally I embroidered a little seahorse on it so I'd know the front from the back. And the last one is a candle wicking pillow kit. This was another of the 8 Days of Hana Craft starts that I did in 2024. This is one that Gabby picked. I don't know, it doesn't show up very well, but if you don't know what candle wicking is, it's an old craft that they did. It's very thin. It's like embroidery fabric. I don't know if they call it muslin or what, but basically the whole project is made with candle wick, the actual cotton that they would make candle wicks out of. And the whole thing is just lines and colonial knots, which I had never heard of colonial knots before. I'm not good at French knots at all. Colonial knots are done in a different method, which apparently just clicked better for my brain, so I was actually able to get this far when I started it that year. I haven't worked on it since then. I'm still not keen on knots. But let me tell you what, if you have a problem with French knots, you should watch a video tutorial on YouTube for colonial knots, because it turned out to be so much easier for me. It just clicked in a way that the French knot never did. The French knots, most of the time, they pull through the fabric when I do them, or they look chonky and goofy. Anyway, I started this on December 28th, 2024. It's a kit by MH Yarns. This was another project that was in my mom's stash. I basically inherited all her craft stash. I inherited all the needlework stuff first because she quit doing it years ago, and when she mostly switched to crochet and knitting. But I've inherited a lot of that stuff now too, because she doesn't craft much at all because she has really bad arthritis. Okay, that's all my piles. So thank you guys for joining me for this very long WIP parade. I hope it didn't ramble too much. I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. But all of you viewers, I really thank you for joining me. I thank you for continuing to come back and watch my videos. And I hope y'all have a great week. Bye, y'all.